Hello, everybody. I don't know if anyone's going to tune in or if it's just going to be me and my camera, but I have been wanting to tell my story for a long time. And I was going to do it when I was in Costa Rica. Unfortunately, um, I wasn't able to. I didn't get a chance to. There was some things that happened while I was there. But I was going through a couple of boxes actually. So I've been on this mission to clean my garage, okay? And I was going through these boxes, and I love to carry and save pictures. And so I was looking at some of these pictures and just thinking about how times used to be. And I really thought how important it is for me to share my story. Um, so I'll start by saying, let me just show you this picture. It's kind of scary to think that was my past life. That was me, pretty tipsy. Who knows what I was on at that point, but anyways. Um, so I'm debating on whether I want to do this on Periscope or whether I want to do it here. But I'm thinking that, hi, hi Dulce Maria. Some more pictures. I don't want to share other people's faces, but you can see how crazy life used to be. I worked in the bar industry for a very long time. About, I would say, maybe 10 years. I worked as a waitress, started off as a bartender and promoter at a place called Hurricane Hut, and did pictures there when I was like 17 or 18. And then the guy who was the owner at the Hurricane, or the owner, the general manager, got me a job at a new place called The Hub. And another picture. And so, you know, I just, I don't even look like myself there, but I got caught up in a lot of different things. Always just seeking attention, dressing provocatively. I was really just the person that you would find every, maybe once a week you would not see me at whatever the hottest spots were. And I was good at my job. I really was. I could sell people things and was friendly and knew how to flirt and knew how to do all these things. Maybe because of what happened to me in my childhood, which is a whole nother video. But I went to bed every night. Hola, saludos. I went to bed every single night thinking about how empty I felt and how incomplete I felt. I was missing something in my life. And so I filled it with alcohol. I filled it with drugs, people, relationships. Tried to do whatever I could to make myself feel whole when I was just looking in the wrong place the entire time. Um, I had this big passion for music even during this time. You can see some of the little promo stuff that I had. I was like so into it, really wanted to be a singer. But I wasn't going about it the right way. I was just chasing a dream, and I probably would have sold my soul. Like, at that time when I was in this dark place, I think I very well would have sold my soul if the opportunity would have arisen. And for those of you who don't know about what selling your soul means, I mean, some people call it conspiracy theory, but it's not. It's not conspiracy theory, it's reality. And people who are in the music industry or the entertainment industry or football, or which is also entertainment, basketball, all these people, they don't get chosen just for luck. They get chosen and groomed to fulfill a purpose. And it all boils down to ultimately good and evil. And so they do what they do, and they throw out their signs and their symbols. If you pay attention, pay close attention to music and things, you really can see the truth. When God opens your eyes to discern and He teaches you how to find the truth, it's incredible how much junk and it's constantly being thrown at us and our children and the youth, and it's crazy. And so I was immersed in that world because here I am at all the hot spots and drinking alcohol, not the greatest people, not the greatest examples. Everyone has their problems, and then I'm like this person that just wants to fit in and still lacking so much. And so you fast forward, I quit drinking. I quit doing drugs like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And I thought that was what I needed. I thought it was just a matter of, doing drugs is why I felt so empty, or drinking and going out and the party life is why I felt so incomplete. But really, it was so much more than that. And so I've been a student for many years. So I have about 120 credit hours in science-based classes. I've taken all kinds of science classes, from geology to anthropology to pathophysiology to, I mean, biochemistry, organic chemistry, all the things. I've even taken physics. Actually hated physics, so I quickly escaped that class. But and I also tried to take astronomy. Yeah, astronomy. I hated that class too. It just didn't make sense. No one could answer my questions. Like, the way the moon and the earth and this and that, the way that they try to just explain it to you is just, every part of my being wanted to something more solid, more. Anyways, that's another video too. And I have ADD, so I do tend to forget where I'm going, so I apologize. But I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of insight into my story. And so, I went off, I got cleaned up, never hit really rock bottom. I would say probably my relationships were my rock bottom, honestly. I picked really bad partners. I picked people who were abusive, who were, I didn't pick a man who had God first in his heart or in his mind, or someone who was seeking God first. So that caused a lot of problems for me, because when you don't have a real good moral compass or a foundation of morality, it's very easy to cheat on your girlfriend. It's very easy to smack her, do something to her. So, I, so, fast forward to last year, and I've asked for information from the Baha'i organization. I've received a Quran. I've looked into Judaism. I'm seeking all these different elements, all these different guides. I've studied Buddhism. Actually, I used to work for Steven Seagal, and when that happened, I he renamed me. I became Buddhist. Went to Seattle. Went to beautiful um, temple. Prayed, lit candles. I mean, I did all kinds of stuff. Ate like beads. I was just so hungry for something, and yet nothing changed. I was still miserable. I was still unhappy. I was still making poor decisions. And so the only thing I didn't open was the Bible. I was like seeking everything else except for the Bible. And finally, I don't know what brought me to do it, but I decided to. Okay, actually, no, let me stop for a second. I got into a relationship. I was dating this guy, and he started to tell me about some stuff that was kind of crazy. So he would. Now, I already knew about the Illuminati. I already knew about chemtrails. I already knew about, GMOs, vaccines, all these crazy stuff, all these crazy things that are horrible that, people would say conspiracy theory. I already knew about all that. Um, but he exposed me to a little bit more of maybe like sci-fi ish stuff, like maybe you guys have heard the term Anunnaki, or how supposedly there's like people living underneath the earth that need to be fed. So all these crazy concepts that I didn't understand, I didn't really believe. Still don't know where. If I find them in the Bible, I'll believe them. Like I do believe in the Nephilim, um, but I think ultimately it boils down to good versus bad, and God is good and Satan is bad, and whatever we can do to keep ourselves away from Satan and away from his only goal, which is to ruin mankind and to kill and to take as many people as he can to hell, then as long as you're trying to stay on the right path and you believe in Jesus Christ and you believe that he died and he was resurrected and died for our sins, then you get this wholeness again. And I definitely feel whole now. So I before I became a born again Christian, it first kind of started with music. Okay, so I used to listen to Drake. I used to listen to Nicki Minaj. I used to listen to all that. I grew up listening to Notorious B.I.G. He was like my idol. TLC, Jodeci. So those are the people I looked up to. Mariah Carey. And so I started doing a little bit of research into the music industry. When I started digging into the music industry and the symbolism in the music videos and all the symbolism in the songs themselves, and learning about how they put hidden messages, subliminal messaging, um, you know, I started to realize a trend. Like, okay, every time I hear a certain song, it makes me crave something negative, or every time I listen to this song, it makes me want to go back to this type of thinking. So I was at a session because I do microblading eyebrows, and the the client, I had just done one before her in front of like 3 or 4 people, and so this lady who was going out of town said, "Hey, can you do my eyebrows because I'm leaving town?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I did it, and I got tired of listening to spa music, so I told her, pick something. So she plays Christian Pandora. Now, at that point, I was an atheist, okay? I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in anything. And I just thought, I'm a good person, so whatever afterlife there is, I'm going to be in it because I'm good. I give my last dollar just to a homeless person if I have it, or I donate a lot of my things, and I'm a good parent. Just like patting myself on the back. for stuff that you should just innately do. And so I what was I saying? ADD. Uh I was here's another picture. My goodness, look how thin my eyebrows were. So, anyways, let me not go too far. But I was just this lost puppy, this atheist. So she plays this Christian Pandora station, and I'm like so mad at first. At first, I was very offended. And I'm like, why is she playing this music? Like, I'm not even a Christian. I don't want to hear this junk, blah, blah, blah. Slowly but surely, without even realizing it, that session was the best session I ever did. Not to date, but to date at that time. I felt so peaceful. I felt so calm. I felt so relaxed. I felt so happy. I felt like, wow, this music really made an impact on me. So immediately when I got home, let me download some music. So I downloaded a little bit of Lauren Daigle, who I call my Christian Adele. And she is so amazing. So I'm listening to Lauren Daigle. I'm slowly like intertwining it with my worldly music. Like, let me see what my playlist would show you before. My old playlist was like, let's see. My old playlist was like Drake 98% of the time. Let me see, playlist. Top 25 most played. My own song, because I'm a singer. Set Fire to the Rain by Adele. Don't Think They Know by Chris Brown. Say Something. Motivation by Kelly Rowland and Lil Wayne. Um, Another one of my own songs. Skip to My Lou, Mother Goose Club, that's my song. Am I Wrong? Some music of my own. Tap Out. Aston Martin music with Drake. Only Girl in the World, Rihanna. It Won't Stop. Thug, Slim Thug, Love and War, Tamar Braxton. Those are just some of the songs that I would listen to. So I downloaded some Lauren Daigle, and it was almost instantaneous that I started wanting to learn her lyrics. Like, her voice was captivating. Everything about her was awesome. So I would put her songs on repeat. And then I would just like go and see who's the next like most cool sounding, that's not like hymnals. It's just somebody singing to a good track. And then I found Natalie Grant, and then I found Blanca, and then I found slowly like Mariah Peters, um, Holland in the beginning, Francesca Battistelli, um, Hillary Scott, Laura Story, Ellie Holcomb, Amanda Cook, all these people. And I started not wanting to hear the other music. I just made a playlist and I would play it, and I'd play it for my clients, and my clients would always compliment it. And it was perfect because um, you could hear a good positive message but with like modern music, and so it made you want to in a sense worship. Now at this time I wasn't a Christian. I didn't consider myself a Christian. I hadn't even bought a Bible yet. I was just diving in headfirst with the music, because music I felt like would have been my biggest obstacle. Because if you would have told me you have to change all your music to be a good Christian, I'd have been like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And that's just man-made and this and that. But because it happened like so naturally, it was almost like I was doing it on purpose. I knew this was a step I had to take. And slowly but surely, it got to the point where I no longer at all. Even to this day, I haven't heard like a Drake song unless I'm in passing or I see it on someone's Snapchat or something. But knowing now the truth about all these secular artists, all these artists that sell their souls for rich and, you know, celebrity status, fame, um, they are miserable and unhappy because when they come to the conclusion that there's no other way out except for death or some bad rumor being spread about you, there's nothing they can do anymore. And so they don't have control over what they put out. They have to follow, like, why do you think these artists wear these crazy ugly outfits? It's like you have to do what they tell you, and that's how they keep you in line. And so with the Christian artists, to me, doesn't matter how they look. When they're on stage, they're just worshiping and they're just singing. And so that to me was so amazing because there's no age limit, there's no over sexualization, there's no, it's just purity. It's pure music, pure worship, and it means something versus like give me all the money, champagnes, boats, and da 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 da. You know, all this stuff that means nothing in the world. But it's the message that we're all promoted. Everyone gets it through TV, through music, through movies. So now we're coming to the election time last year, and I was doing a lot of research into Hillary Clinton and the Clinton administration and human trafficking and Haiti and all these different things. And I started to get really caught up in the darkness of the realities of our world. You know, the people who actually run the world, not the people who we think the president. Those people don't run anything. They're puppets. Everyone's a puppet. So I started getting really caught up in the darkness. And when I started researching more and more about, you know, all these crazy things that are real, it really, really freaked me out. And I felt unprotected and I felt unsafe and I didn't know what to do. So the night before the election, I just prayed to God and I said, if you exist, just please don't let someone who has an evil heart win this election. If because it was supposedly she was going to win. There was no doubt about it. But of course we know the media is fake news. CNN is fake. I mean, all these things are fake. This is like propaganda. So I said, if you do that for me, God, I will seek your word. Like, I'm not going to become a Christian. I'm not going to be holier than thou. I'm just going to seek your word. So the next day I woke up and honestly I had to do what I said because he did something. He did not let her become president. And it might sound crazy to some people, but that was the moment that I knew that there was something bigger going on, some other type of prophecy that was happening. So I said, if he's going to do that, then I need to stick to my word. So I went, got a Bible, and of course, when you start seeking the truth and you start seeking the word of God, Satan comes after you. So Satan came after me pretty hard. I would say probably within a week, one of my friends died in a really tragic accident in Thailand. So I had a funeral to go to. And then about less than a month later, in the meantime, my Bible disappears. My very first Bible completely into thin air disappears. Never found it again. One of my best friends gets hit by a car and dies about within that month. So I don't have my Bible till like, I had started reading it. I had started getting into it. I was still in Genesis, but I was, just making a little bit of an effort every day to just read it as if I were a student learning something. I wasn't trying to go in, I'm going to be a Christian now. I really didn't have that intention. I just thought I'm going to say what I promised what deal I made with you, I'm going to do it. So I started kind of going into this depression. I started, falling pretty heavily into a bad relationship, and it scared me that I would do that again. So I made a change and I said, okay, that's it. I'm buying another Bible. I need something more. And I had just decided that I needed to get baptized, that I now knew enough after researching, watching videos, watching sermons online. I felt like I needed to be saved. I needed to be born again. So in February, I went to the church and I was the very first person to be baptized at the Woodlands Church near my home. And it felt so amazing. I cried in the beginning. I felt so sad for my old life, my old self, but happy to be renewed. And I felt so happy to be forgiven for all the crazy things I had done. And so I studied my Bible more, kept studying my new Bible, and I slowly started to see a big shift in the people that were in my life. The negatives got more negative. The positives were stronger influences on me. And I was really convicted about a lot of things like Halloween and just different things that, will convict you when you start to see things through your new eyes. It's so different. Life is so different. So, I'm sorry that this video really didn't come out exactly how I wanted it. I wanted it to be more like full story, but I just wanted everybody to know out there, like, no matter what you go through, you can do drugs, you can be promiscuous, you can be materialistic, you can be anything, any of the sins that you can think of, a murderer even, and you still can be forgiven because Jesus gave his life for us on the cross. And so seeking his word, and there's like a great verse in the Bible that says, if you seek with your heart, God will show you the truth. But you have to seek with your heart. So he knows when you're not really truly seeking. And so I've been a Christian now for a year, almost a year, I would say. Well, whenever I got baptized, I guess that's officially when I was a Christian, but I had already accepted Jesus before that. So I would say like around end of November, I could be considered Christian, so probably about 1 year. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I've lost a lot of friends for it. I've even lost family. But I still pray for them, and I still pray for everybody that it hasn't been saved, because if you love them, you want them to know the truth, and you want them to experience the peace that you feel, because there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And every time that because I still sin, I'm not perfect. I'll never be perfect. The only one who was perfect was Jesus Christ and God. But when I sin, small or large sin, I feel like a disconnection between me and imagine your most favorite thing or your favorite person in the whole world that you just want to spend all your time with, and like you just feel disconnected for a little bit, but no matter what you do, he'll never ever let you go because he loves you so much. So hi, thank you for caring about my story. there's more stuff I'm going to talk about later, about what happened to me when I was little, when I was even 18 or so, some other things. If you follow my Periscope or my blog, you'll know the story about what happened to me when I was went to a party. Those things really affected me and made me be crazy. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, so, anyways, I'll be talking about those things um, on my next video. But I pray for everyone out there who isn't sure where their path is leading them, and if it's real, if God is real, if God is just BS, if it's a made up story, if it's a man made thing. I did all kinds of stuff. I drank, I partied, I stayed up till 7, 8, 9 in the morning when everybody's going to work. I'm leaving the house that I was hanging out at. I lived too much. Stories for weeks. But um, when you get baptized, you become renewed and cleansed, and He takes away your heart of stone and gives you a heart of flesh. So I'm happy and thankful that He was there guiding me and protecting me, because there's so many times where I should have like OD'd, been in car accidents, um, been in jail. So many near death experiences, so many times where I was driving and got pulled over, had like 11 warrants for stickers that needed to be, fixed, but I couldn't renew the first sticker because I needed to renew all the other ones. And so that officer could have taken me to jail and didn't, because God had mercy on me even back then. And what made me stop was just knowing that there was a greater purpose for me. Somehow, deep inside of me, I would say to myself, okay, I don't want to drink anymore. Not everybody can do it this way, but I don't want to drink anymore. I quit working in the bar industry. I literally left the day that I said it. I left and I never looked back. Then same thing with drugs. Like, I'm done doing drugs. Occasionally, I didn't do anything crazy like needles or anything like that, but I very well could have been on some crazy, crazy drugs. Um, I tried powdery substances. Thank goodness I didn't get hooked on them. I did temporarily, but then I did not long term. Like, now I'm fine. Um, what made me change was just knowing that there was a bigger purpose out there for me. It wasn't some miracle. It wasn't some like out of body experience. The only thing I can say is I have that now. Now I recognize when I have a dream and God is talking to me, or when I have a question and I open my Bible to a random passage and it's the answer to my question. Those things are not just coincidences. It's God talking to me. And if you open your heart and you really, really, really want to feel complete and peaceful, and you almost feel like your anxieties just melt away, forget about benzos, forget about all that other crap that doctors want to give you. It's very um, true that you can find your own healing. So I hope that this video helps somebody out there who's, maybe gone through similar situations. Like, I was molested when I was younger, um, other things that happen, and you can come out of it. You can survive, and you can actually come through, because God loves you so much. So I'm going to pray for all of you. I'm starting a Bible study, as crazy as it sounds. I'm going to be leading a Bible study online. Um, Thank you, Flipper. I appreciate that. Um, I'm going to be doing a women's Bible study, but I will be doing other Bible studies. So stay tuned. And if you haven't added me on your social media, like Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff, you'll probably, thanks. you'll probably hear me singing, because if you've looked at my channel, you see I sing a lot. I love music. Music's my biggest thing, and you'll get to see me singing different music now, Christian music, but it really does fulfill my heart. So, anyways, God bless everybody, and leave your comments below. I would love to hear your story or hear about what you're going through. Um, love you guys. Bye.